Hello and welcome to my Week 8 predictions for the Major Arena Soccer League. This is my first ever video on this channel, but it is not my first time predicting arena soccer games. I am on the website Big Soccer Forum. I've been predicting arena soccer games there for a few years now. I'll go ahead and put my username and record off to the side. I don't actually know my current record because as I'm making this video, one of the Week 7 games has yet to be completed. But none of this is why you're here, so let's jump into the predictions. Starting off on Friday, we have the St. Louis ambush at the Kansas City Comets. Kansas City is coming off a massive win against Milwaukee in Milwaukee. To me, that's the upset of the season so far. Just a massive, massive win for Kansas City. But St. Louis has played Kansas City tight all season. That being said, I'm still picking Kansas City in this game. Also on Friday, we have the San Diego Sockers visiting the Tacoma Stars. San Diego is coming off a tough win against Ontario. I'm sure it was a bit close for comfort for a lot of San Diego fans, but San Diego did pull it out. They're also currently playing El Paso as I'm making this video. They're currently losing to El Paso, but it's early on. It's tough to say how that one's going to go. Meanwhile, Tacoma is coming off a heartbreaking loss against Monterrey on that last-second goal by Frank Tayu. They did bounce back the next night with an easy win over Ontario, however. Both of these teams have shown glimpses of being elite top-tier teams, and this is why this is my game of the week. If you had to watch just one game, this would be it. I think it's going to be a really good one. And it's tough to make a call who's going to win in this game, but I'm going to give the edge to Tacoma because they're playing in Tacoma. Moving on to Saturday, we have the Harrisburg Heat visiting the Baltimore Blast. This is a repeat of a game that just happened last week. In that game, it was a very close game for about 3 quarters, but the Blast pulled away in the 4th quarter. I expect something similar this week. I'm picking the Blast. Then we have the Milwaukee Wave visiting the Florida Tropics. Turns out Milwaukee is human after all. They lost their first game of the season last week to the Kansas City Comets at home, but they did bounce back the next day with a big win over St. Louis. I'm expecting Milwaukee to start another winning streak and beat the Tropics. Utica City FC at the St. Louis Ambush. I still think Utica is one of the top tier teams in this league, although the past few weeks they have struggled a bit. A couple weeks ago they had a big loss to the Wave, and then this week they had some very tight games against Mississauga and Harrisburg, games that you would expect them to win by a lot more in. On the other hand, you have St. Louis, which I believe to be an underrated team. Yes, they did lose big to Milwaukee last week as well as on New Year's Eve, but beyond their games against Milwaukee, they've been playing fairly competitively this year and stayed tight in just about all of their games. So I'm going to go ahead and put Utica City FC on upset watch because I think St. Louis is going to win this game. Dallas Sidekicks at El Paso Coyotes. These teams have played, I believe, 3 times this season, and every time they've played, my prediction has been wrong. I clearly have no idea what I'm doing for predicting these games, so I'm picking El Paso because why not? Then on Sunday, we begin off with the Mississauga Metro Stars at the Baltimore Blast. The last time these teams played, the game went to overtime, with the Blast emerging victorious in Canada. But the Blast were without Vinny Dantas and Tony Donatelli for that game. I don't think that will be the case for this game, so I'm picking the Blast. Then we have Flash de Monterrey at RGV Barracudas. I'm picking Monterrey in this game because Monterrey has been solid all season and it hasn't really given me a reason to doubt them. That being said, I'm putting them on upset watch because I would not be surprised at all if the Barracudas pulled off the upset. Rio Grande Valley is a good team. They've played some very, very tight games. They should probably have more wins than they do at this point, so I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if the Barracudas won, but I am still picking the Flash as my official prediction. Tacoma Stars visiting the Ontario Fury. This is another tough game because the Pacific Division is full of great teams. San Diego, Tacoma, and Ontario are all great, and really any games between them could go either way. That being said, the Stars did win big over Ontario last week in Tacoma, and I'm going to give the Stars the edge in this game as well, although I expect it to be a lot closer. Turlock Express at San Diego Sockers. Turlock has just unfortunately had a tough season. They've been somewhat competitive. I don't think they're quite as bad as their record would imply, but I still think San Diego is going to win this game. Utica City FC at Kansas City Comets. Utica fans aren't going to like this, but I'm predicting their second loss of the weekend in this game. Kansas City is coming off that big win against Milwaukee. I think they're on a big upswing. Meanwhile, as I said, Utica City does seem to be struggling just a little bit, and this is also their second game of the weekend on the road, so I'm going to give the Kansas City Comets the pick in this game. I'm also not entirely sure if I should consider that pick an upset or not, but we'll go ahead and throw another upset watch Utica City's way. Finally, on Monday, we have the Milwaukee Wave visiting the Orlando Seawolves. Orlando finally started looking like the team that I thought they could be coming into the season with a big win last week over the Florida Tropics. And I think that they're finally starting to put things together. That being said, I still think the Milwaukee Wave will have an edge in this game in front of all three fans at the Silver Spurs Arena. And that will do it for my predictions for this week's MASL games, but make sure you come back next week to see which ones I got right and which ones I got wrong, as well as to see my Week 9 predictions. In the meantime, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, and until next time, you have a good one. Predictions. In the meantime, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, and until next time, oh crap, no.